Hi everyone, and welcome to the Practice Growth with Pras podcast. I'm your host, Pras Murthy, CFO and co-founder at Doctor Multimedia, where for the last 10 years I've been helping practices grow all across the country. We started this podcast so we could dive deeper into the issues around practice growth, from online marketing to the way you run your business. We know doctors are busy people and you don't have a lot of time to study these kinds of topics, so we're hoping this audio podcast makes it really easy to stay up to date with what's going around the country. We'll be interviewing top doctors, successful practice managers, and other experts in the field. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, welcome everyone to the inaugural episode of Practice Growth with Pras. Thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited about this brand new podcast that we're launching. I can't wait to share all kinds of practice growth tips, talk with our clients about what's been working for them or not working with them. And if you're listening, we're just so thrilled and honored to be a part of this. For those of you that are tuning in or maybe don't know what we're all about, we at Doctor Multimedia, a digital marketing agency for doctors. My name's Pras Murthy, one of the co-founders and the CFO of the company. And what we do here on a daily basis is help doctors with their digital marketing. We run their websites, their social media, help them generate more online reviews, email campaigns, pay-per-click advertising, really you name it when it comes to the internet, and we're to help out with our doctors and their practices and really help them grow their practices with the power of marketing, especially digital marketing. So we thought, why not come to you with an audio podcast? We know a lot of our doctors commute every day, to and from work, not to mention other drives that you might have in the course of your daily life. And we thought if we could reach even a handful of our doctors in their car, presumably, or a subway ride, or however it is that you get to work. That's why we started Practice Growth with Pras. I'm your host, Pras, of course. And we'll be, over the next few episodes, as this gets rolling, we will really be looking at our most successful cases, what people are doing, what seems to be working today, because it's probably different than what was working 6 months ago, and really helping you all in any facet of your practice growth that we can. So while, of course, we're going to have a digital marketing focus here on Practice Growth with Pras, we're also going to go beyond just traditional digital marketing and talk about growing your practice. The challenges, the trials, the learning curve that go along with that. You could be running a super successful 2-doctor practice, and it might all fall apart when you try to scale to 6 doctors, right? Practice growth isn't guaranteed. It's not just organic. People can get comfortable in the niches that they're in, and what it takes sometimes to grow to the next level is a new way of thinking, new tools, new dynamics, new outside companies that you partner with, like Doctor Multimedia, to help on the marketing side. So yes, marketing is absolutely an important part of practice growth. Some might even say it's the largest part of practice growth, but there is more to growing your practice than just digital marketing. And so another unique situation or unique purpose of this podcast is to allow us here at Doctor Multimedia to expand just past what we're experts in, and to tackle some of the topics that we have experts in. And by that I mean our clients. We have over 5,000 doctors that we work with, literally ranging the spectrum from one doctor part-time mobile practice to 20 plus doctor mega practices doing tens of millions of dollars a year, and everywhere in between. And so if you're not familiar with Doctor Multimedia, odds are if you're listening to this, you are a client. But if not, we are a digital marketing agency for doctors with pretty humble beginnings. About give or take 10 years ago, depending on what you count as the official beginning. Myself and my 2 business partners were really just friends. We were friends with a common interest in Arizona basketball, University of Arizona Wildcats, and that's really what brought us together. And we were doing fun stuff online. We kind of came together as part of a internet community of basketball fans, and together we really helped take our little niche to the next level. We were producing content, we were interviewing players, we were well connected in the community, and we were just running a really fun fan website that was very popular for the scope, of the world that we were in. It did extremely well. Shout out to Point Guard U and those days back then. And as luck would have it, the three of us had a common friend who happened to be a doctor, a veterinarian, and he asked us for help with his website. And this was like 2007, 2008. And at first we said no. We had absolutely no interest in doing anything medical related. It wasn't where we came from necessarily, and it certainly wasn't what we were doing. So we just kind of passed, but our friend was persistent because he saw the great success that we were having online in our other ventures, and eventually he did get us to agree to help him out. And we were immediately successful. We helped his practice grow from, I think it was 1.8 million to 2.6. 3 something, and then finally about 2 to 3 years later, we were at 4.3 million. And so when you have growth like that, people are going to notice. The gentleman that owned his practice happened to own about 15 other practices in Las Vegas, which is where we were situated at the time. And he said, "Hey, I see what you guys are doing. Would you be willing to do it for 5 or 6 other practices?" And keep in mind, we didn't even have any interest in doing the one, but kind of one thing leads to another, as it tends to do in life. And we found ourselves running the online marketing for 5 or 6 veterinary practices in Las Vegas. Fast forward a couple years, one of the biggest veterinary conferences in the country rolls through Las Vegas. So he said, "Hey, why not show up there, show people what we do?" And then we had our first couple clients not in Las Vegas. And what started with 5 or 6 turned into 40, turned into 100, and then if you just fast forward years and years, you get to a couple thousand, and now at 5,000 plus. So that's a little bit of where Doctor Multimedia started officially. I suppose if you rewind it even farther back than that, myself, I'm Indian. My father's a physician. He's an allergist out in Tucson. My co-founder is also Indian, so he was surrounded by doctors all his life. And so we were always part of a community that was largely doctors. We've been blessed enough to be able to help doctors all across the country grow their practices. And now we're just taking the next step. If you haven't seen them, we've been putting out video content regularly for our clients. And now we're adding that, that audio podcast format, because we know that it's going to allow doctors to interact with us in settings where they normally wouldn't be able to. And more importantly, we know that we're going to be able to interact with you guys, whether it's through guests or questions that come in, and really tackle some of the topics that you want to learn about. And so we couldn't be more excited. If you made it this far, we're super thrilled that you were part of the first episode of Practice Growth with Pras. We hope that you've already got a couple of ideas or questions in the back of your mind for us, and we encourage you to send those in. You can always reach us at drmultimedia.com. I specifically have an Instagram page now for this podcast. It's called Practice Growth Pras. Pras is P-R-A-S. Be sure to follow us on there. Obviously, you'll get all the episodes there, but a lot of the interaction that we have with top practices around the country occur on that Instagram page, so definitely become a part of that. And then, of course, Doctor Multimedia's YouTube page is where you're going to find a lot of the video recordings of these podcasts, until it spirals off into its own thing once we get to that point. So for the time being, thank you for listening to the first episode and getting to know us a little bit more. And we'll be coming to you regularly with, tips on growing your practice. So for everybody out there, thank you so much. We're so excited to get this thing going. You're listening to Practice Growth with Pras. My name is Pras, CFO and co-founder at Doctor Multimedia, and we can't wait to see your ideas of where you want us to go with our content.